In the next exercise of Module 2, the exercise 2 is about validating student informations. So, as usual, we are going to open the solutions. So the solutions file is under All Files folder. We are doing Module 2 at the moment. The lab files, this is starter lab files. If you have any issues with your starter lab file step by step, you can open the solutions file, copy and paste the solutions file informations into your starter. Okay, or you can compare the exercise, the starter exercise, and the solutions exercise to see what you have done incorrectly. Let's click OK for the warning. Okay. Now let's open the Solutions Explorer view. Solutions Explorer. Now we are going to build the solutions and debug it just to see how the solutions look like before we continue with our exercise. So build, succeed. You can start without debugging. Okay, so these are all the informations that we have from the database. Now click Kevin. Again, we try to press insert to insert the new student into the database. Let's say you incorrectly press 3012. Okay. You can put first name and last name. We just want to test the date of birth. Click OK. Yeah. Notice that the new row has been added because we don't have any validations. If the date was entered incorrectly, as long as it's a date, it will be accepted. Okay, so for example, you accidentally put 2024, which means the student hasn't even been born yet. It should pop up with an error instead of listing the age as minus. Okay, so that is our exercise for this part of the module. Okay, so you can just stop the debugging or just close this. Now, as usual, we are going to open our C# file for the main Windows applications. Now, you can list out the tasks as the one that we did in the previous exercises. Okay, so go to View and Task List. This is just to make it easier for you to jump into the to-do part command of the file. Now, go to the to-do exercise 2 task 2a, which is the first one. Just double click. We bring you to that to-do list. Okay. Now, we enter the following code for the if statement. So if the string is null or empty, you mentions that the student has to have a first name. Okay, so you can use these if functions. If string dot is null or empty, for the first name, use the message box to show the student must have first name. Now let's do the same thing for the last name. So write down the exact same command into the next task. Okay, so you can copy and paste, modify, or you can just retype. Exactly the same code. It's just that this dot last name instead of this dot first name. This is the current context. So as you're currently in a particular text box, for example, okay, so you can use the short object called this. So this is if the user left the last name blank, it will be pop up with the error message. Now let's validate the date of birth. So you can create a variable first called result, which is a date time data type. Okay, and if you will try to parse the date of birth text box, and then whatever the result, put it in the result variable. Okay. So you try to parse whether if it is a date and time or not. If it is not date and time, then pop up with a dialog box or message box saying that the date of birth must be a valid date. Now that one is quite straightforward, that it has to be a valid date. And the last but not least, of course the student cannot be too young or too old. So you can put these informations, this coding. Okay, create a coding, you create a variable called age, which is a time span, and you can subtract the date and time now from the result. So if age dot days divided by 364.25 is less than 5, the student must be at least 5 years old. Or you can modify it accordingly. So it depends on your school what age that the entry requirement is. Now, as usual, we can build the solutions and we can debug it. Now we can start without debugging it. Okay, set. Now let's insert some student. Press the insert button. Put any name here, or you can try to skip it and just click OK. The student must have first name. Okay, that's the first error message. Let's say Dominic. And last name. Oh, let's test it out whether it will accept if we leave it blank. Okay, the student must have last name. Tan. Click OK. The date of birth must be a valid date. So you can try 18. No, this is the US date, so we can put 10. 18 2022 for example, 2020 for example. Okay, so the student must be at least 5 years old. So you can put 2010. Okay, so if we accept Dominic. As you can see, your validations has worked.